Thanks, gentlemen. We have a few minutes if you guys have any questions, any of any of us on these ideas, on and how did it go for you? Oh, thanks. Were you able? Was this something that you could take in, or was it boring? Did it work for you guys?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Because these ideas are ideas that can change your lives, really. You know, this Thoreau person really led the way for humanity through civil disobedience, because he applied this stuff to society and his life to society. You know, he went to jail for not paying his taxes in support of the to rebel against the Mexican War. So this guy did it, and he inspired Martin Luther King and Gandhi. So we can all do it, and he hoped that we would, and saw that we would. And now with Occupy Wall Street and Occupy America, you know, people are standing up in a nonviolent way to say, hey, you know, life's more than this. What we've created, you know, in our with these logical minds that have operated on these, basically coming from this little teeny box of the scientific paradigm that's so separate from the rest of creation, that now it's time to stand up and become the true human. So do you guys have anything to say?
Well, let's see, any feedback?
Don't see any hands?
Come on,
anybody
there's
desperate?
all kinds of excited people out there. Can't wait to see. Anything? Connie mentioned several times the phrase civil disobedience. Anybody know what those two words mean in reference to Thoreau?
A book called Civil Disobedience.
Right, exactly. There's actually a very short book that Thoreau wrote called Civil Disobedience. It's an extraordinary sort of declaration of independence for the individual. It's really powerful, and I would highly recommend that. So just whenever she mentioned in civil disobedience, he said she's referring to the book.
Yeah, and he believed in the power of the individual, and each of us coming from this higher conscience, which we made very clear in this. But that's the key, is to each of us go inside and listen to that little voice inside that's telling us what to do. And it may be totally contrary to the consensus reality that we've all been raised in. And there's something new coming on the planet. It's up to us to bring it to pass with our choices. It's not just coming, it's coming through the human heart and us resonating to it, listening to our inner promptings, honoring our hearts with courage and action. It's not just sitting and thinking, oh, I know something, I wish I could do this. It's saying, I'm doing this. And that way you set everyone around you free, because you have modeled the courage to act according to your heart instead of what a fear-based paradigm has conditioned you to think is the proper way to act. Now, Thoreau has a great quote. Pardon?
Wouldn't that bring kind of an anarchy?
Well,
Do you think it would? Because if everybody just went around doing
right
what
in
came
this
to their head, I mean.
Right, but see, in this conditioned frequency, with these assumptions that we have and how we've been conditioned, yes, because we're operating out of fear, out of greed, out of basically fear.
Yeah.
Okay? But when we get to this place that Thoreau's talking about, you see, that's the point we're trying to make with this thing, is that when you're in your higher conscience, that once we all get to that place, it's not going to be anarchy. It's going to be, and I asked an Indian elder, because I spent a lot of time with native elders, and I asked her that very question. And she said, no, because I said, is there going to be a leader of this transformation, you know? And she said, no, and I said, doesn't that mean anarchy? And she said, no, it means we're each going to take our piece of the hoop of life. We're going to fit it together with everyone else, and we're going to create the hoop of life.
Do you think we're too late as a society for that?
Heavens, no.
No?
No, we're
No, man,
we're just
this
starting
is
to wake
it.
up. We're just starting to wake up.
This is it.
May I comment
Yeah,
on that
please.
further?
And it looks like we have a question over there, so.
But go on.
Let's hear from Joe first.
Oh, well, you know, Thoreau lifts up this synchronicity he sees between the Native American spirituality and transcendentalism. And there are other traditions too which have looked at the universe from what would be called an esoteric point of view, which is not based out of fear, but is based out of a vision of wholeness. So that rather than myself being a separate human being who's sort of seeking to attach myself to something greater, the assumption would be that we are already the divine wholeness. You know, the divine wholeness, the completeness which creates us, the energy that sustains us, which we're not in control of and we didn't make ourselves, right? That's already fully in us. So it's rather a question of waking up, right, to the realization that we are already that which we've thought we need to seek.
Right, but that,
And if I am the vibration of the harmony out of which I'm created and which has ordered all things, then my own surrender to my higher nature is that I will always be in alignment, right, with the passage of higher vision. And, you know, many traditions have practices, affirmations or meditation systems or raising Kundalini yoga or doing ritual or shamanic journeys where one can achieve this consciousness and realize that the Hindu formula is we are that. You know, whatever it is that we think is the divine completeness, we're already it. And it's a question not of operating out of fear and separation to try and get it. It's a question of letting go of the illusions, which are fear and survival based, that keep us from realizing we're already it. Thoreau makes the point that the Native American people live in that consciousness, you know, that I am already immanently one with all things and one with nature, and so I know the medicine of all the plants, you know, and I can see things that the rational consciousness doesn't. Does that make sense to you?
Would it take a lifetime to get to that point? Like, because as an Indian, you grow up, I have no idea. I feel you grow up in the wild, learning about all the different plants as medicines and being one with the wild and stuff. And like, as society today, we grow up with Xboxes and PlayStations.
Right.
So would it, like, are we too late to, like, because you need to spend a lifetime getting to that higher
Well,
knowledge?
Not at all.
I have an answer.
Yeah.
But
I would say, and this is a big subject, and we could
Quantum.
spend the next several hours discussing exactly that point.
Mm.
I believe we live in a time right now where, just for example,
it can happen.
Henry David Thoreau was a very unusual person. He actually studied the Indians. In those days, nobody thought they had anything to bring. We're now looking to all these other cultures, these indigenous cultures. We're learning a lot from them. And it's about, we white people have a lot to bring to it. We humans are evolving to a whole new phase, and I don't want to miss this young person.
Okay, but I want to say
Can
something.
there's a
Can I
question
just
over
say
there.
something
Yeah.
to you and to all of you? You have it all inside of you now,
That's right.
okay? And there's a veil that's lifting. There's been a veil, a thick veil between you and your true self and the true nature of the universe, but that veil is thinning and lifting. All you have to do is give permission, okay? Ask, and you shall receive. Just give permission, know it's possible. Hopefully we've opened your hearts and minds to possibilities, okay? No, it sits inside of you. It can be instantaneous. It doesn't take any training whatsoever. It's what's up on the planet right now. You guys got born when you did, you chose it, you're here, and it's just this far away. It's right, as close to you as your juggler, right? But let's,
I just,
Can-
we're kind of running.
I know.
I know it. I think there was one question I didn't want to lose in there. Is that okay?
Yeah, can I just, before we take that question,
Yeah.
once we're done, I'm just gonna ask for a few people to stay and help pack up here.
Is there another
and,
group coming in
There's
here?
not another group coming in, but we'll just help you to pack up.
Okay.
your
That's
stuff.
okay,
And I'll
we'll be
give you
fine.
guys a late note. So let's have Jane's question and then we kind of have to wrap. Are you sure?
Did it get answered?
Well, not really. I have to be like, at least for myself, when people let go, normally hate and greed comes out. It takes a constant struggle with that inside yourself to become a good human being. I don't feel like goodness exists inside people. If goodness was our nature, we would have been killed by wolves when we were evolving. All animals on Earth are built to survive and kill other life. I mean, like, if humans were a peaceful society, we just wouldn't have evolved at all. Humans, in our evolution, we survived by taking advantage of other animals, taking advantage of our surroundings, and we see that in our society today. That's what it's based around. Exploiting our surroundings and the people around us to put ourselves higher than them. I think that's what exists inside us, and we need to be grown up in a society that rejects that to truly evolve out of it. So, I think it's the other way around.
Well, we as a species are evolving.
Choices
And
to be
those fear-based assumptions that you just described very graphically are no longer relevant. We don't need them anymore. There are very few wolves right outside the door. There are scary neighbors or people on the other side of some border who share the same fearful assumptions that we share. It's time for that stuff to go away. That is no longer relevant to current society. And if we don't wake up, we're in big trouble.
But once we understand that we're all one, that fear of that neighbor goes away. Okay, we've been operating from a fear energy, okay, which is changing. The earth is going into a higher place, a higher energy, so that playing out that fear energy of separation, he's different from me, so I'm scared of him, or I'm going to hoard my stuff because there isn't enough stuff, and if that guy gets my stuff, then my kids aren't going to survive, or I'm not going to survive. Those are fear-based assumptions that it's a scarce universe, which isn't true. I mean, so this is a very deep subject, guys.
It's a huge, actually, this is what we write books about, and this is what Connie and I teach. We actually work on exactly that.
We have a workshop on Saturday called the Trust Frequency.
It's what we do. It's called the Trust Frequency. Yeah.
Well, we're leaving, but we're coming back. I raised
We're
my
back
3
and forth
kids
all the
here.
time.
My daughter actually went to CRMS, but yeah, we're in and out. But we're giving a workshop on Saturday. You ought to come if you can. All day Saturday down at 3rd Street Center.
Just wait.
But-
On behalf of the class, I want to thank you, Connie, Andrew, and Richard, and this is just a little thank you card with the classmate.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
So do we got
Thanks for
another round
coming
of
and
applause?
listening. It'd be great fun to come back and have a discussion with you guys.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I'll be back at Christmas for 3 weeks. I don't know when your vacation is, but maybe we could sneak something.
As you can see, it opens up a lot of the deepest questions.
And it has to do with our assumptions about the nature of the universe, which is what I pointed out in this thing. That our logical minds have responded to a certain set of assumptions that are actually erroneous. They're actually 180 degrees off, exactly the opposite of what the true nature of the universe is. Okay? So we'll leave you with that. And you can go to our thetrustfrequency.net. It's a website where we examine these current assumptions and replace them with what we consider more accurate assumptions about the nature of the universe. It comes from quantum science and indigenous cosmology. So try that out, thetrustfrequency.net.